Hey, what up everyone, this is Mondo Day back with another video. In this video I'll be showing you my build guide for Ultron as a summon. I say that because with Ultron you can use various types of builds, so I'm going to be showing you my build guide for Ultron as far as what artifacts, uniques I use, medallion, legendary, as well as where I place my power points, my omegas, which I use roughly around 3,000 give or take. And I'll be showing you my synergies, and at the very end I'll be showing you my rotation, how I was able to pass with this build how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial. So let's get it started. So regarding his uniques, I use mainly all of his uniques, standard uniques, except for slot number 2. I use Sinister's Bioengineer unique because it gives you that summon ally damage and duration and health. So, but everything else I use his uniques. This is kind of a rare unique, but you can get it if you just keep playing. You definitely will get it. I have several of these uniques, so if I was able to get them, so I'm sure anyone can. Regarding the artifacts, I use Mole Man's Staff for the summon ally damage rating, and summon ally duration. I use Mayhem Demon Blood for the extra fighting and speed, also for the health and energy damage. This build is it's built as energy and summon, so any energy damage will be helpful. For medallion, I use Manape for the summon ally damage, health, and duration. Brutal Strike and critical damage. Orders from the Skull Emperor, obviously for the power duration, +1 intelligence, damage rating, and for the summon health and damage. Shuriba's Neotom for the summon ally damage, brutal damage rating, critical damage rating, and then also too, when you use a signature, you summon about 6 Mayhem Demons, so that's very useful. For the ring, I use the Bloodstone Demon Band, again for the brutal damage rating, the damage rating to the range attacks, because Ultron is all range. For the +1 durability, because I do need him, he's kind of weak, so having that extra durability does help a lot. And for the summon ally health. Now for the insignia, I use Nick Fury for the critical damage, brutal damage rating, and also 2, when you use any power, you and your allies gain plus 12% summon damage and +1 intelligence for 8 seconds, which is very useful. And for the pet, I use it doesn't matter what you use, but for the pet it gave me plus 8% base health, +1 to range powers, and +3 to intelligence. Obviously for the Reforged, I use the defense because again he is a bit of weak, but I use the blessing to give you +200 for range powers and +200 for energy. For legendary, of course, is Neptune's Trident for obviously for the summon. Since this is a summon build, you'll want to get as much summon in there, so I use that legendary. And obviously for the costume, I used critical damage, and for the core I used one where it gives you regenerate 25% of your health and 100 power when you use a medkit, and +1 energy, and it gives you 90 power, or spirit I should say. And that's really it regarding the items I used. The only one that you might have issue is this one right here, Sinister's unique, but you can definitely play that. I think for one of them I was able to get it through Midtown Manhattan, non-cosmic, so it's doable. Now for the powers, I use again from left to right, top to bottom. Operation Blast, just 1.
I will not suffer another insult by waiting around like this.
Shut your mouth. For ranged combat drone, I max this out because again all of his attacks are energy. What else here? Operation Irradiant, I use 7 there. Precise beams, I use 4 there. Okay, moving on. For summon drone, I use 14. This is another summon, but he's more physical damage. I can't even pronounce it. Inshab Follow Beam, max that out. It's a very good one. Indestructible Body, this is a passive. I max that out as well. For Energy Overload, max that out. Signature, of course, max it out. Operation Swarm, max it out. I didn't choose any. I didn't specify. I didn't choose any of this because he's a summon. And then last but not least, I use Ultron Prime, max that out, and I chose Augment Enhanced Weaponry, which is the last one. Basically, it gives you, for your summons, it gives you, they're outfitted with like a flamethrower and a missile launcher as well. For the Omegas, let's just look over it. For the Omegas, for newer enhancements, none. Arcane Attunement, I can't even pronounce these, wow. I use Doom's Mystic Armor, +1 there for the energy damage increase. Interstellar Exploration, Earth, just 1 for the extra base damage. Special weapons, I use Vanquish Sniper Rifle, Assault Rifles, and Tactical Pistol, because he gives you a little bit of damage for your range attack since he is at range. Even though he's summoned, but I also want to build him as a range too. I don't want to make him that weak. And then Focus Plasma Cannon for their range power increase. Fury's Needle Gun, again, attack speed, but the cost of range powers is reduced. And then Night Pistol, again, for the base damage to range attacks. Mutation, 1 for Warpath, for the fighting. Radioactive Origins, none. Nanotechnology, none. Human Augmentation, none. Psionics, I did 5 for Melt Phase for the brutal damage rating. And then I did Ranger Poses for the extra damage to summons. Set for, I can't pronounce this, I can't pronounce it, sorry. Overmind's Power for this +6 intelligence. And then Supreme Intelligence for the extra intelligence. And then Molecule Adjustments, I did 2 for Antigenesis for the +2 energy. And then I chose Exogenesis for the base damage to energy attacks. And that's it for regarding Omegas. Hero synergies, so let's just go look at them. Cable for the critical damage, Captain Marvel for the energy damage, Doctor Doom for the signature damage, which is, I love his signature. Iron Man for the range and energy damage. Magic for the summon health on any hit, and then summon ally damage 5%, which is very, very useful. Rocket Raccoon for the summon ally damage and summoned ally health. She-Hulk for not so much of the physical, but for the health regeneration. And Star-Lord for energy, power, critical chance. And then War Machine for the fighting, and then Wolverine for the brutal damage. And that's really it regarding his Omega synergies and so forth. So now I'm going to show you the rotation. Again, the rotation is fairly simple. I like this rotation a lot. He's pretty fun. I will say though, he is a bit weak, so keep that in mind. So my rotation, obviously the summons, but my rotation with him is this. It's fairly easy. I usually tend to use Operation Swarm first, Energy Overload, Intello Beam, and then Operation Irradiant, and that's really it. Operation Irradiant and Precise Beams, I switched it on and off, so I might just do Precise Beam, and then this is more for like a direct. But if I want to do like an area, I use Operation Irradiant. So if, let's just say I'm doing Ultron and I need to defeat some people around me, use Operation Irradiant. Or if I'm in Cosmic Trial and then, you know, there's a lot of enemies or around me, I use Operation Irradiant for the area. But if it's something that I want to be like an individual enemy I want to kill, obviously I use Precise Beams. And I use Operation Blast whenever my spirit is low. Okay, so again, the main ones I use are these three right here. Inshallah Beam, Energy Overload, and Operation Swarm. I will say that for team up I use Agent Coulson, because obviously for the summons. And that's really it. So my rotation goes like this. Let me show you over here. So, and just you attack, or so again, it really depends. If you're in an area where there's a lot of enemies around you, definitely want to use Operation Iridian. That way, but if it's just like a single target, precise beams. See, and then that's my team up summons, and that's really it. Now, obviously for the summons, I mainly use range combat drone because of the energy, because this is an energy build. I mainly use them a lot, and then I use like 2 or 3 depending on what I feel like for close combat summons. And it looks like that. So when I'm, you know, the boss or cosmic trial in this case, my summons do all the work. All I'm doing is just damage from a distance. See? That's really it, honestly. He's very simple. Your summons are usually the easiest to build, but that's really my build, and that's how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial. Again, you just have to, with Ultron, you have to keep moving because he is very weak. So you definitely want to put more durability, but he is a bit weak. So again, you want to keep moving. So let's say this is Red Skull or something. Obviously, you want to have your summons out, but you want to keep moving. But the key thing is have your summons do all the damage and take all the damage. Meanwhile, you just do damage from a distance and kind of angle yourself correctly to where whenever you do like a single target damage, like for instance precise beam, you're in sight. So you can keep moving, and then when you're in the right direction, boom, and move, then damage. And obviously your summons are there. But that's really it. Again, he's fairly easy. One thing I do like though is that with this artifact, it summons 6 Mayhem Demons, which is very good because when you have a summon build, this is probably one of the best artifacts because it provides you an additional summons, and with those additional summons you can do massive damage. And so just to show you so it looks something like this. So let's just say this is an enemy. I'm going to show you with all my summons how it's going to look like. Let's just do it. So it'll look something like this. Signature, and then you go to the summons and you just do damage. Where you can do area, range, doing massive damage, and just do any cooldowns available and just do them. Again, let your summons do all the work. If you have to move. Look at that. I'm not even doing anything now. Look at all the damage being done. See? Again. It's that simple. It's that simple with summons. But that's it. That is my build guide for Ultron. Again, it's fairly easy. The only thing you might have issues with is this particular unique, possibly this artifact, because this one you do get it from the Mystic Mayhem boxes. So if you don't have any Mystic Mayhem boxes, you can use different type of artifact. You can use, just make sure that the one you use gives you, it benefits you in terms of either intelligence or it benefits you against regarding your summons. But that's it. That is my build guide. So if you have any questions, please feel free to message me or leave it in the comment section below. And that's it. Alrighty, thanks.